But I want to do that because I want you. I want all of you, forever, you and me, every day.
Do my eyes deceive me? Are you a Bart and Bella? No. You're one of those acapella girls, I'm one of those acapella boys, and we're gonna have acapella children. It's inevitable.
Stuff like where we'd live, you know, like a small place outside the city where our kids could learn to ride their bikes and stuff. You know, we could have a cat that had a bell on its collar, and we could hear it every time it ran through the little kitty door.
No sex, no money, and complete obedience. Doesn't sound like something your average 20-year-old would be lining up to do.
Man, I want to tell y'all something, man. Man, I'm not gonna let these material things get in my way, y'all. I'm trying to get somewhere. I'm trying to get somewhere that's real and pure and true and eternal. Toby, can you go with your boy? Let's go. Literally thousands of parishes in the Roman Catholic Church in the United States of America that do not have a priest. They are priestless parishes. Where there is no Eucharist, there is no Catholicism. And you cannot have Eucharist, you cannot have the body and blood of Jesus the Christ unless there are priests there to celebrate or to celebrate Mass and to confect the Eucharist.
As far as historians can tell, celibacy was expected of clergymen early on in church history. But it's almost certain that the first church leaders, including the first Pope, St. Peter, were married men.
Bottom line would be, if they feel called to marriage or called to celibacy and then called to priesthood, they're effective. But they got to be honest in where they're being called, because we're about doing God's will, and we're most effective when we're following the call and calls he has given us.
Bishop told a newspaper that priestly celibacy is not church dogma, but tradition that started in the early days. That you can, quote, think about some modifications, end quote, as long as it serves the good of the church.
If the Pope, by not changing the law of obligatory celibacy, eventually deprives many people of the opportunity to participate in Sunday Mass, then he is saying by his actions that the man-made law of obligatory celibacy is more important than God's law of worship.
The church is willing to reconcile with married priests and to reinstate these married priests into ordained ministry, into active ordained ministry, then celibacy will become a non-issue. But it still will allow for those men who desire not to marry, who prefer to live a non-married life, a celibate life, can still do so. But we will soon discover that most men will choose marriage and will bring forth a stronger, better, and healthier church as a result of it.
Francis' plans to reform the Vatican have received a lot of attention. And while he hasn't broached the topic since becoming head of the church, he discussed the celibacy issue candidly when he was a cardinal, calling it a matter of discipline, not of faith. And religious scholars agree, saying while removing the celibacy requirements could breathe new life into the church and help solve a growing priest shortage, being open to change shows a change in the right direction.
It is from married families that priests, bishops, popes, and saints came. The more families we have, especially with priests, especially with married priests, the more will the church be able to produce better priests, bishops, popes, and saints.